What's going on, everybody? Khalipa's Tech here, coming back at you with another video. In this video, we're going to be doing a comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G and the Samsung Galaxy A03s. Now, before we go any further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. But with that being said, let's get into it. So the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G has a 6.5-inch PLS TFT display with a resolution of 720p, a PPI of 270, an aspect ratio of 20:9, and a screen-to-body ratio of 81.1%. We also got a 90Hz refresh rate on this phone, which gives the display slightly faster and smoother movement on the screen. It's not a huge game changer or anything like that, but if you're doing lots of content consumption, like video streaming and playing games, or if you're just scrolling a lot, maybe you have a Kindle and you're reading, then it is going to improve your experience just a little bit. For the front-facing camera, we got a water drop notch right up here, and this camera is 5 megapixels. The Samsung Galaxy A03s has a 6.5-inch display as well. With this one, we're getting a PLS LCD with a resolution of 720p, a PPI of 270, an aspect ratio of 20:9, and a screen-to-body ratio of 81.8%. So as you can see here, in the general design of the phones, they basically look almost exactly the same, except the bezels on the Samsung Galaxy A03s are a tiny bit thinner, I'd say. But really, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't make a huge difference. Almost forgot to mention, with the A03s, we also get a water drop notch up here for the front-facing camera, and this camera is 5 megapixels as well. So again, lots of things about these two phones are really similar. As far as the overall design, they're both pretty thin, but I really like the Samsung Galaxy A03s's finish. It looks really cool, kind of unique, and I like the texture too. No matter what lighting you're in, it still doesn't really show very many fingerprints. Whereas with the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G, even though it has a matte material and it's better than one of those glossy finishes, it still does show fingerprints a lot more than you would expect from a matte material. So make of that whatever you will, but I would say in general, both phones do look good. As far as the display features go, when you're doing normal content consumption, you're probably not going to notice much of a difference because these displays do look pretty much the same. Even though they only have 720p resolutions, the image is still decently sharp, and the colors look really nice too. I do like how bright they are. The only difference you're really going to notice is the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G does have a 90Hz display, so the movement on the screen is going to be a little bit smoother. But other than that, it's really going to be basically the same. I would say both of these phones do have a good size for content consumption. 6.5 inches, while being pretty much standard, is definitely not small by any means, and the 20:9 form factor is pretty good too. Now for storage, the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G has 64GB of internal storage with microSD card expansion, and the A03s has 32GB of internal storage with microSD card expansion as well. So obviously, the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G is going to have an advantage in terms of storage, with double the storage of the Samsung Galaxy A03s. So if you're a power user, definitely consider getting the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G, or at least getting a microSD card with the A03s to expand the storage a little. On one hand, 64GB isn't huge. I've seen plenty of phones in this price range with 128, but it's still going to be acceptable for most people. Whereas 32GB, even for the average user, you're probably going to have to watch what you put on the phone. And again, be sure to get a microSD card in order to expand the storage, so you can offload your photos and videos and save some space. If you're planning on getting a lot of apps, especially games, because those tend to be a little bit bigger, I would say the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G with the 64GB of internal storage is definitely going to have a huge advantage for you. But if you don't put a whole lot of stuff on your phone besides photos and videos, either of these phones will be fine. Neither of these phones have wireless charging, but for security options, you're going to get both a fingerprint scanner on the power key and face unlock with both of them. It's nice here that Samsung gives us both face unlock and a fingerprint scanner, because not every phone has both, some just have one or the other. Now with that being said, let's give these fingerprint scanners a try and see how well they work. We're going to start with the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G. There we go, one more time. And there we go. Real fast and responsive, no issues here. Moving on to the Samsung Galaxy A03s. There we go, one more time. And there we go. For the most part, they were both the same, real fast and responsive, but I would say the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G's fingerprint scanner is a little bit better. With the Samsung Galaxy A03s, it was still pretty good for the most part, but as you could see in the beginning, it was a little bit fussy. Whereas with the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G, it unlocked perfectly smoothly the whole time. Now taking a look at the camera setups here, with the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G, we got a triple camera setup with a 50 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera for portrait mode. So unfortunately, we're not getting an ultra-wide camera here, and that really is too bad because I think an ultra-wide camera is such a basic feature that every modern smartphone should have. But aside from that, we got a 50 megapixel main camera, so that's going to take some real nice photos. I would say if you're going to be taking photos to keep for social media or something like that, this phone, while not being quite as good as a $1,000 flagship phone, is still going to get the job done really well. Now for video, we can shoot in up to 1080p in both the rear and front cameras, so no 4K or anything like that, but the quality is still going to be pretty decent. Now with the Samsung Galaxy A03s, we're getting another triple camera setup with a 13 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera. So the pictures taken with this phone aren't going to be quite as good as the ones taken with the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G, but for what it is, I've found the quality of the photos taken with this phone to be surprisingly good. To give you an idea of what we're dealing with here, this is a photo taken with the main camera of the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G. As you can see, this is a really high quality photo. The colors look great. The focus, the way the lighting handled, everything is really good. So if you do want to take some really high quality photos, whether it's for social media or something else, this phone is going to get the job done really well. Now this is a photo taken with the main camera of the Samsung Galaxy A03s. And as you can see, this is not half bad either. I would still say the Samsung Galaxy A13 is a little bit better. The lighting and the colors and everything is just a little bit brighter and bolder and the details are sharper. But if you're just going to be taking a few photos here and there, you can still take some really nice photos with the Samsung Galaxy A03s that you can for sure keep for social media or something like that. I do think the quality is still here, but if you do want the best camera between the two, I would say the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G is going to be the better choice. With the Samsung Galaxy A03s, it's the same thing for video, 1080p in both the rear and front cameras. But keep in mind, just like the photo quality, the video quality is going to be a little bit better on the A13 5G. Internally, the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G is getting 4GB of RAM with the MediaTek Dimensity 700 5G processor. The Samsung Galaxy A03s is getting 3GB of RAM with the MediaTek Helio P35 processor. I ran a Geekbench 5 benchmark test on these phones and it's actually a little bit closer than you might think. With the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G, I got a single core score of 467 and a multi-core score of 1111. With the Samsung Galaxy A03s, I got a single core score of 175 and a multi-core score of 891. So while the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G is clearly faster and more powerful than the Samsung Galaxy A03s, the A03s is not really that far behind, and for basic activities like going on the web and using social media and stuff like that, it's going to be perfectly fine. But if you're heavily using social media like TikTok and Instagram that are a little bit more graphics heavy, or if you're doing mobile gaming or something like that, I would say the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G is going to have a clear advantage here. Now these phones have the same battery actually, with a 5000 mAh battery that supports 15 watt fast charging. While neither of these phones has an advantage over the other here, I do want to point out that this is a really good battery. These phones are not only going to get a ton of battery life throughout the day, you probably won't have to charge either of these phones until the nighttime, even if you're using them decently heavily, but you're also going to be able to keep them longer down the road because as the batteries degrade, they're not going to wear out nearly as fast as a smaller battery. So if you prefer to get one phone and keep it for a longer period of time, either of these phones will be a good option for that. In addition to this, fast charging is really going to come in handy for convenience. If you're in a situation where your phone's dying and you need to give it a little bit of life, and you don't want to wait too long for it to charge up. Now, as far as other features go, neither of these phones are particularly great in that area. They're pretty basic devices, but the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G does have NFC, whereas the Samsung Galaxy A03s doesn't. So if you like to use contactless mobile payment services like Google Pay, the A13 5G is definitely going to be the way to go. So in conclusion, which of these devices is better? Overall, I would say the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G is going to be the better device, because while these phones are really similar, and some of the features and their appearance for that matter are exactly the same, in every area there's a difference. The Samsung Galaxy A13 5G does have an advantage. It has double the internal storage, a 90Hz display versus a standard 60Hz display, a better camera, a better built fingerprint scanner, a noticeably more powerful processor, and it has NFC so you can use Google Pay with it. I would say in general, by itself, the Samsung Galaxy A03s isn't really a bad option if you're just looking for a phone for basic activities and maybe want to take a few nice photos here and there for social media or something. But if you are at all considering getting a phone like the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G, I would definitely go with the A13 5G, because when the two are compared, while they are really similar in a lot of ways, the A13 5G is objectively a lot better. Now keep in mind that as of the recording of this video, the A13 5G is only available with AT&T and AT&T prepaid, but that is going to change really soon. I do know that it's coming to Metro in January, and it's probably going to reach all the other carriers within the same time period. So it's really just a matter of time before everyone starts carrying the A13 5G. So it is going to be an option really soon. But with that being said, for entry-level devices, in my opinion, both of these phones are pretty good quality, and they do provide a decent amount of value for the money. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.